helping you out when it's game time. Here's Brad.
Hi, and thank you for joining us today. Now, one of the biggest crazes to ever hit television these days is Texas Hold'em poker. Now, I realize that a lot of you probably don't even know how to play poker, but not only am I going to show you how to play poker, I'm going to show you how to host it in your own home, so that way you can have all of your friends around. Now, the supplies are relatively easy and cheap to get. Now, we have the chips. Oh, wait, no, I meant the other kind of chips here, but these chips will also come in handy later on after all the other players get hungry. Now, you're also going to need these types of chips. They come in many different types of packages. You might need to get more types of packages whenever it comes around, and you have more players that you want to play with. Now, also, I have some special guests here today. We have the red M&M, and we have the lime M&M. They're pretty easy. They have their constant poker faces on, no expression changes whatsoever, but I'll get into that later. Now, what is one of the best ways to get in with poker? Well, you have to know the basics first and foremost. Now, the first level of cards that you have is called the high card. Now, that would also be, you have cards that go through from 2 up to ace. You have the 2s, you have the letter cards, which are also known as the royal family. Now, from there, you have what is called a pair. The pair itself is, here I have a pair of 9s. You have a pair of 9s here. That is the second highest level that you have. Up next, we have the 3 of a kind, which can be 3 anywhere from 2 all the way up to ace. 2 being the lowest and ace being the highest. Now from here, it gets a little bit trickier. You have what is called a straight. I apologize. I forgot about the, well anyways, from here we have what is called the straight. That means all of your cards are going to be lined up in the same order. You can have 2 through 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is called a straight, and that beats a 3 of a kind. And from there, you have what is called a flush. Now, you may be wanting to know why in the world all of these cards have different things. Like you have spades, you have hearts, you have clubs, and you have diamonds. Now, here's a pretty interesting fact about all of this that you can bring up in conversation. Each of those suits bring up the different seasons of the year. That's why they were created that way. Now, after the flush, remember that I showed you the 3 of a kind. Here, you have the 3 of a kind, and you have the 2 of a kind. You put them together, and you have the always famous full house. That beats a straight, and it beats a flush. From then on, you have what is known as you have a straight flush. The straight flush is a straight and a flush all together. Now, what happens whenever you have a straight flush? Well, when you have the straight flush, make sure that you actually have the highest card before you start going down and bidding. So if you have an ace with your straight flush, that's always a good thing. It's a sure bet to go with. From then on, you have 4 of a kind, and then you have what is called a royal flush, which is a straight flush, but it is the royal family. So we'll be right back after these messages, and I'll get in through some more poker with you. Stay tuned. Now before we start going with our hands, before we start dealing out our hands and playing with my friends down here, I am going to show you how to be a good dealer. Now this quarter here represents the dealer coin. The dealer coin is actually, after every hand that you do, it gets passed around and the next person becomes the dealer. This is because whenever you're playing with three, you actually have what is called small blinds and big blinds. Let me demonstrate what that is right quick. Since I have the dealer coin right here, the first lime here is going to, with my help, have a small blind, which is 1 bet, and then red, with my help, is going to have 2. Now, dealing. You do not have to be a professional dealer like you would see with magic tricks. That takes a little bit of practice to get to, but you can actually get by with just doing this. Now, since I don't have anybody to my left here, whenever you get done shuffling, pass it to the person furthest to your left. So it goes here. I'm going to tag out here with red, and I'm going to do this for him. You're going to cut the deck. And then he says that the deck's good, so you take this and you put it up there. Now you're actually ready to deal. Now you always deal to your left. Now you're going to go to 2 cards each here. Now whenever you're checking your cards, don't bring them up like this or anything like that, because that way somebody can actually look around and see what you have. So I would recommend that you actually hold it up like this, look down, and leave it there. I'm not going to check their cards, so I'm going to make sure that the pot's right here, and I'm going to put my 2 bets out here. Lime doesn't like what she has. She says she's going to fold, but her chip still stays in, and the pot's good. From here, whenever you're dealing, make sure that you burn one, you burn a card. Then you take 3 cards out. We have 3 cards out. Now it's time to bet, and it's just myself, and it's red. Now, my cards are the Queen 5. Now, as you may notice here, that we have 3 clubs. So I'm in good shape to actually get a good chance for a flush. Now, do not go, if you have a good chance for a good bet, don't go all in, because you never know, and you don't want to go out early and be the all-time dealer, or you're the chip man, and you're just eating the whole time and you're watching. Not a good thing, and it's less fun that way. Now, from there, I'm going to check. That means you knock on the door, you're not going to bet anything. Red, being the hothead that he is actually going to throw in a red chip. Now, I want to see what's going on from here, so I'm also going to throw in a red chip. Now, from there on, once again, you burn one and you turn one. Right now, we have a pair of 3s, depending on what he has and what I have as well. I don't have anything yet. So once again, I'm going to check. Red is also checking. So you burn one and you turn one. Now at this point, remember, I have a Queen 5. So that means that I actually have 2 pairs. And remember, that's the second, actually third level hand that you can have. You have the high card, you have 1 pair, then you have 2 pair. Now we go off with the bet here. I'm going to throw in a blue. Red's going to match me. So we're going to throw him in. We have it. He also had a good flush draw, but he didn't have anything else. He was going for the flush, so then that means I win. So, thank you very much for joining us today, and it was my pleasure to be in your home. So make sure that whenever anything's going on, just make sure you can have a good poker party.